Good evening, everyone. It's been a while since I did a live. It's been a few days. It's been some days. Come on in, everyone. Look at my cup. I had someone to make this cup for me. It is awesome. So I love my cup. It keeps my water nice and cold. Hi, hi. I am Aurora Priesthood. How are you doing? Good evening. It's been a while since I did a live. I won't say I won't be here long because I'll be here. When I say that, I'll be here for an hour, over an hour. How is everyone doing? I know. Listen, I had someone to make this for me. It's beautiful, right? Yep. I had someone to make this for me, someone I used to work with. She's into all these different arts and crafts, and she really did a good job. Really did a good job. So I love my cup. Yeah, when she retired, that's what she started doing. She started, tapping into her creativity. So I support her in her business. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I just wanted to come in and pop in and talk to you all. I'm going through a transition in my life. I don't know why my teeth look extra yellow on here. my teeth look extra yellow. But anyways, I'm still gonna do this video. For some reason, the glare, the glare is like what's up with these teeth? But anywho, anyways, listen. I wanted to talk to you all about, don't rob people. I'm going to change this title. Don't rob yourself and don't rob others, right? Don't rob yourself. Can you all hear me good? Don't rob yourself and don't rob others, right, of their process. Okay? This is what I want to talk to you all about. Let me know if you can hear me, because I have my charger and I don't want the Bluetooth to connect, because then it sounds like I'm far away or, I'm in space or something. That's what I want to talk to you all about. I really want to talk to you all about. Hold on. Don't rob yourself. Don't rob others, and don't rob yourself of the process. The process. And we all know there's a process. As the chosen one, sometimes we have a savior mentality. Put a one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. We have this savior mentality. We have this God-like complex where we think we are people's savior. We have it. Come on, let's tell the truth. Shame the devil. Let's tell the truth. Let's be honest up in here. Let's be honest. We have this savior mentality where we want to save our children. We want to save our spouse. We want to save others because as the chosen one, we've experienced things that we don't want no one else to experience. But can I tell you? Can I tell you? We're taking away those people's process. We're taking away their process. Don't rob them of their process. Don't deny yourself of your process. Chosen ones. It is good for you that you were afflicted. What was that thing that Paul said? It was good for me that I was afflicted. You need that. That's the process. Oh yeah, that's the process. Excuse me. We cannot rob people of their process. The process is what going to prune you. The process is what made me. The process is my stamp to prove that I'm a chosen one. The process is your stamp. No, don't take the people process away. Don't deny yourself of your process. I know it's hard. You needed that betrayal. That's part of the process. You needed that eviction. That is part of the process. You needed that bankruptcy. That is part of the process. You needed the abuse. It's part of the process. Don't allow the process to be stripped away from you. You know, I got a friend right now, and I know she's a divine connection. She's a divine connection, and she don't understand that she helped me, right? Because I'm going through something at this moment. She was the one that helped me. God had already started working with me and teaching me. It is the process that is going to prune me. It is the process that's going to prune others. It is the process. Sometimes you have to sit back and watch people go through hell. You have to watch them go through, get themselves together, go through their process. You can't be their savior, because if you become their savior, you're going to abort their plan. But this friend helped me to realize. She helped me to realize that this message, what I'm telling you, you can't prematurely stop somebody's process. You can't become your friend's crutch. You can't always be there to be checking on them, to make sure they're okay during the process. Because if you do, you're going to stop the hand of God on their life. That's what she taught me. And she said, lean on her, but she didn't understand when she spoke those words. That did something to me. It spoke life to me, because God was already dealing with me about my situation and about my situation with, people in my family, my loved ones. He had already started dealing with me and teaching me, you got to let people go through their process. You can't rob them of their process. And you have to pray and ask God to just use what that person is going through for their good. Yes. It's the process when, not just when, you learn to lean on God and not people. It is the process that's going to wake those wayward children, those prodigals. It is that process that's going to wake them up and bring them to their senses. Not you being there always, even if that child is homeless. It's the process. You got to let them go through that. Yes, you do. As a mama, we don't want to believe it. We don't want to believe it. We got to let them go through their moment. Okay? You got to let them go through it. Do not rob people of their process. Yes. You got to let that prodigal. A lot of y'all got prodigals on here. I know y'all do. Y'all got some prodigals. And you trying to figure out what it is that you did wrong. You ain't do nothing wrong. The moment you told God to have his way, and you gave that child to God is the minute that all hell broke loose. It's the minute all hell broke loose. That's the process. Thank you, Dominique, for the $4.99 super chat. That is the process. The hell is sailing. You need to know God is on. You need to know if God is real. He's going to show you he's real. He's going to show you he's real. He's going to show you that he's real. Everybody that saw that prodigal act a fool. Your child like that acting a plumb fool. Making you look bad. You looking bad. You're ashamed. You feel like you don't want to go out. Some of y'all just embarrassed by how your child looking and acting. No, God say, I need that. Like they say in the hood down here, let me get that. You know, they say, let me get that. God say, let me get that. Let me handle this one here. Let me handle this. Child out here making you look like you ain't taught them nothing. You know how the old folks used to say, act like you got some home training. They acting like they ain't got no home training. Like you ain't raised them up. Like you didn't raise them up right. Look, y'all, some of y'all want to go hide. Don't go hide. Don't go hide. You let them know God got them. Don't go hide. Don't let people, you hold your head up. You do you. You gonna enjoy yourself. You go on that cruise. You gonna enjoy yourself. You live your life. I know people gonna talk about you like that child out here homeless, ain't got nowhere to stay, and she over there enjoying her life. Yep, and God taking care of business too. That's the process. That's the process. That's the process. Thank you, Shakila, for the $5 super chat. You let that's the process. You gonna enjoy your life. You go look good, get your nails done, your hair done. For the men, you go cut your beard up. Go get you a line up. Go get you a nice suit. Let them kids run wild. And you just pray that God cover them. And you cover their souls. And you ask God to spare their souls and their hearts. But you let them go through that process. You let them go out there. Some of y'all got kids out there talking to themselves on the street looking bad like they ain't got no family. Like they ain't got no family, like nobody don't love them. You live your life. That's what you do. I'm here to tell you, some of y'all feel bad. You don't want to live. Live your life. And you give them to God. Every time you pray, you say, Lord, he's yours. Lord, he's yours. She's yours. You give them to God. You got to let them go through the process, regardless of what people are saying. Regardless if people are talking about you, you feel like people whispering and talking, let them talk. You know your heart. You got to let them talk. Oh, yeah, Shaquille, I'm sure it does hurt, dear. Listen, I'm sure it does. Let them talk. You know, let your prayers, even if things don't turn out, even if you don't get to see things turning out how you want them to, you got to trust God that God will honor his word, because he's a man that he shall not lie. You got to have faith. You looking, y'all, some of y'all sitting back like, where did I go wrong? What did I do? What did I say? You ain't say nothing. You didn't do nothing. Most of y'all did the best you could. Stop beating yourself up. You did the best you could. You got to remember, you went through your process. You went through your process. You had your prodigal moment. But it just seems so much worse because you are stronger than your child. You feel like you're stronger than your child because you had it harder. So you feel like you're more equipped and you're stronger. And, you know, you feel like you can carry it. But you got to allow God to give your child the same strength. We all went through it. Dominique, I went through mine. But it don't seem like it was as worse as others. But I went through mine. We all went through a tailored product a moment. Oh, yes, Greta Lee. Oh, see, that's another problem right there. That's why I say we have to allow the process. Sometimes we become enablers. We want to take away what made us. And this is a lot of you all. If y'all grew up in the hood, we felt like how we were brought up. Some of us felt like it was just so bad. No, it wasn't bad. Some of the things you can use. Some of us who grew up in the hood, we think the hood was just so bad, and we don't want our children to experience what we did. But if you look at it, growing up how we did refined us. It gave us a resilience that these children don't have. We took away that from our children. We took away that resilience that the hood gave us. The hood ain't, everything in the hood ain't bad now. Come on now. Some of the stuff was bad, just like everywhere else. Suburbs, they got their issues too. But we want to move the hardships away from our children. No, we don't need to be repeating those cycles and curses and stuff. No, that's not what we should be doing. But at the same time, we can't take away the process. Yeah, Shakila. Because see, they haven't had that struggle. See, me, you can drop me off in the middle of anywhere. And I could survive. Exactly. I am a royal priesthood. We take all that away. My baby didn't even know what food stamps were. My daughter like, Mom, what is food stamps? She didn't know what food stamps were. And I grew up with them paper dollars, them paper white dollars, buying the candy for a dime just to get some change back. They don't know the struggle because, see, we take that away, process. No, you don't want to repeat the cycle of everybody depending on the system. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to remove that part. But as far as doing everything for them, we got to, yes, Dominique who? They don't understand selling glass bottles for 10 cents to make some change. I forgot I used to hustle when I was a child. This been in me. The way my mindset set up now, this been in me. I tell my children, my baby say, Mom, you always trying to make money off something. You always trying to turn something into a business. Yes, I am a royal priesthood. My daughter, 20 years old, and I'm learning right now to let go and trying to teach her, which she's my more responsible one, because I have one older than her, but she's my more responsible. She's more wise and forward thinking. But in my mind, I have to let go because I feel like she's still my baby, but she's 20 years old. And I still see her as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. But yes, right now I have to let her go and teach her, right? Teach her how to, get out and navigate the world without feeling some type of way for myself. It is the process. Oh, yes, Rubia. Rubia, let me tell you something, girl. The block cheese, I discovered that block cheese, what we grew up on in the hood. I don't care what nobody say. That Boar's Head cheese, that's welfare cheese. It tastes the same. That Boar's Head cheese from Publix, it is the same cheese. I tasted cheese before. I say Boar's Head, that's that welfare cheese. Boar's Head is kind of expensive, right? But yes, I think that's the welfare cheese, girl. But listen, my baby, she's the more responsible one. But as a mother, dealing with children, when they get older and dealing with, all of your children are different. Oh, listen, I'm a royal priesthood. I can understand, dear. In this hard, I don't judge people. See, one thing I've learned as a mother, right? I've learned as a mother, I learned not to judge people's situations because you're not in their situations. You don't know what people have to deal with. Yes. I'm a royal priesthood girl. That's welfare cheese. Nobody's not gonna argue with me about that. That Boar's Head Yellow American, that's welfare cheese. They just renamed it, repackaged it. But as parents, it is tough. So I don't judge people's situations because it's tough as a parent. You don't know what people have to deal with. You don't know the choices they have to make. So I don't judge people's situations. The only thing I do, because of my nature and my call, the only thing I do is encourage people. I encourage them. I don't give them no advice unless they ask, but I don't judge people's situations because you're not in their shoes. You're not in their shoes. So I don't judge people's situations. I'll encourage them, tell them to keep praying, or I'll say, you know what, I'll pray for them. If it's a need that I can meet or the Lord put on my heart, that's what I'll do. But I don't judge people's situations. Because you don't know what people are up against. You don't know what they're up against. You don't know what they have to deal with. You don't know their upbringings. You don't know how they think and how they see the world. So there are so many variations of people, and so that's why I don't really judge. I don't really try to give my 2 cents. That's what I mean by judging. Giving my 2 cents. Oh, you should do it this way. Or you should do it that way. You don't know how people should do it. You don't know how they should do it because you don't know their makeup. You don't know their upbringing. People are dealing with a lot of things. They're dealing with a lot of things. Like how I raise my children, there's no cookie cutter way. That's another thing. You can't look at somebody else's way, how they raise their children, and apply it to how you raise your children. There's no cookie cutter way of parenting. We're doing the best we could with what we have and what we was given. Half of us wasn't raised by loving, caring parents. So we're trying to do, right? We're trying to do the best we could. We're trying to correct and make changes based off the things we didn't like, how we were raised. So we say, we're not going to do that with our children. We're not going to do that because I didn't like when that was done to me. And half of the time, to be honest, the things that you're trying to take away from your child that you didn't like, that is exactly what they need. They need that struggle. They need that. Thank you, Dominique, for the $4.99 super chat. They need that struggle. They need that, we're not going to get a variation of cereal. These kids got options now. We didn't have options coming up. They got too many options. We didn't have that. My kids got options. And see, we make these kids' life so easy. And some of them grow up and develop in an entitlement mentality because of us. Because of us. We got to admit that. Because of us. We're going to have to eat that. We did it. But it's still their responsibility. See, one thing about me, I don't take the responsibility. I don't take the full responsibility. I'm gonna take responsibility for my part, but you're not gonna hold me responsible because you still have the will and you have a decision to change. You have a decision to change. You could do when you become an adult, whatever I did or whatever you didn't like that I did as a parent, you have a decision to change that. You have a decision to do better. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just like I had a choice. I had a choice not to do drugs. I had a choice to make. When I saw my mom and dad smoke crack cocaine, I had a choice to decide if I was going to do the same thing or not. This is why my kids don't have any excuse. I don't care what they do. They can act a fool. They can act a plumb fool. And I'm still going to tell them, guess what? You have a decision. You have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. Regardless if your parents did whatever they did to you, you still have a decision to do better with your life, to change. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I made a decision. I wasn't going to touch a drug. How I saw drugs do my mom and my dad. That was a decision early on. I'm not touching a drug, no weed, no nothing. I don't need it. I don't care what it is, made marijuana legal, legalized marijuana. No, I'm not touching. I don't care. I don't even want to take prescription drugs. That's my decision. That's how firm my decision was. That's how, dude, I didn't want to take no That was a choice. That's why I tell my children, y'all got choices. Y'all got a decision to make. And one wrong choice could make or break your entire existence. One wrong choice. One wrong choice. So yeah, I wanted to come talk to you all. Don't rob yourself of the process. And it's okay, because the process is where we learn. The process is where they learn. We don't know. We don't be knowing. We don't be knowing. I remember when I first had my first child. I had my first child, my son. He's 22 now. And I remember when I had him, I was a young mom. And I remember I used to always get so anxious and get so upset and get so worried if he failed, or I was always there to catch him. Because when your first child, you don't know. You're a scared parent. I was a young parent. You don't be knowing. That's why I tell some of y'all, to give your parents grace. Give them grace. Forgive them. Because some of them, if you go back and you look at your mom and your dad, they were young when they had you. Some of them were 16, 19, 20. And just imagine, if you were 20, just imagine the stress and the pressure your parents had on them trying to raise a human. They did the best they could. But I remember when I had my child, my first, it was so, because you don't know if he failed or if he, cried. It seemed like I was just to the rescue, like rescuing him, right? It just seemed like he couldn't I didn't want him to fall, and I didn't want him to, I was just there too much. I was so overprotective, because as a new mother, you don't know what to expect. But after the first one, I had the second and third. I'm like, you know what? I'll let them jokers fall. Look, listen, my daughter to this day, the 20-year-old, she's tougher than my 22-year-old because I didn't coddle her. Them first ones, you kind of baby them, you overprotect, because you're a new mom. And if you were a young mom, you don't know. Give yourself some grace. I need to free some of you all, deliver you all right now from feeling guilty. Oh, y'all, you got to free yourself, honey. Free yourself. If them kids mad at you, let them be mad. Let them pray for them. Okay? Pray for them and ask God to deliver them. Ask God to deliver them. Yes, but after, with the first one, you have this extravagant baby shower, everything. Child, when I had my second one, I'm like, whatever. Listen, like nothing was new. Yes. Yes, you're fearful. You don't know. And see, your children have to understand that. They have to understand that you're human too. See, and another thing, and this is for some of y'all on here. Some of y'all hold y'all parents up on a pedestal. You got too many expectations of your parents as to what they're supposed to do. Hey, Nicole, you changed your name. We Hours Podcast. I like that. But see, we have our expectations of what our parents supposed to do. They didn't do this. Oh, they didn't love me. They didn't give me this. They didn't give me that. Have you ever thought your parents don't have it to give? Have you ever thought have you ever thought they parents didn't give them what you are looking for from your parents? You got to cut them some slack. There's no excuse, especially if they were abusive. There's no excuse for abuse. Even if they abused you, there's no excuse, but you have to let go and forgive them. You know why? Because they learned that from somewhere else. They learned that from somebody. That's why it's good to go back in your history. They learned it from somewhere. Let go so you won't repeat the cycle. Just let it go. Let it go. Yes, you're a human too, Shakila. Cut yourself some slack. See, as a parent, we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves because of society and what society says we ought to do. A lot of the stuff we don't have to do. You don't have to be there for your adult children. I'm gonna dispel that lie. You don't have to be there for them if they making choices and decisions that goes against what you've taught them. You don't have to be there for them. You give them to God. You give them to God. Some people driving themselves in the ground. You trying to be there for your child because they made choices and decisions that they're reaping the consequences of. Pray and you let them go. Some of y'all sick behind y'all adult children, running yourself in the grave. I saw my grandmother do it. I did. I saw her do it. And I said, I'm not going to do that. All my uncles was on drugs. Every last one, something was wrong with them or they were on drugs. And my grandmother just was worried. She was just worried about them. And I know them your babies. You know, you don't want to see your child out there homeless and living on the streets, acting the fool. You don't want to see that. I know I don't. I wouldn't want to see my child out there. But there's only so much you can do before you run yourself in the ground. Only so much you can do. When they go against what you've tried to instill in them, when they go against what you tried to instill in them, they're going to reap the consequences. And unfortunately, the consequences don't look good. The consequences don't look good. And you can't blame yourself for that as a parent. If you know you've taught those children and you've told them, if you pleaded with them, don't do drugs because this is what will happen to you. It will steal your mind. It'll take away your mind. And people like, ain't nothing wrong with weed. Oh, listen, y'all better do research on marijuana. You better do some research. Don't let this world tell you it comes from the Lord. Yes, everything comes from God. But people have changed things into something harmful. Y'all better do some research and see what marijuana do. They talk about curing cancer. You better do your own research. Do your research on it now. That's all I'm gonna tell you about that. But continue to pray for them. Continue to pray for them. And trust that God will bring them out of that. Oh, because God in the healing business. He's in the restoring business. He's in the healing business. That's why you can see people who was just what they call it, sprung out or strung out, which one it is, sprung out on drugs, and God transformed them, and you can't even tell they were on drugs. Y'all better trust it. You got to believe it. Oh yes, I'm a royal priesthood. Sometimes you can instill. Let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all mothers something. I don't care what you do as a mother. I don't care what you do. Sometimes these children still going to make decisions that go against what you tried to instill in them out of rebellion. They'll get mad at you. These children will get mad at you and harm themselves, trying to make you feel hurt. Let me tell y'all the truth now. I'm going to tell the truth, shame the devil. That's because they let the enemy use them. The devil getting these kids too. They getting these kids and have you out here looking bad. You be embarrassed. You be shamed. People know. Look, people know you didn't raise them kids like that. What happened to them? Now they weren't brought up like that, especially in the black community. We go to talking. People go to talking. Now he know his mama didn't raise him like that. He know or she know, you know, she know she wasn't raised that way. And then you got these ones. Oh, that's what she gets. She thought her kids were better than everybody. And look how they turned out. You got them ones. You got them ones. You didn't even say and put your kids on the pedestal, but because you tried to raise them different, people will come back and say this foolishness. Oh, she thought her kids were better than everybody anyway. So I knew that was gonna happen. People talk like that. Come on now. I'm gonna tell the truth and shame the devil up in here today. Oh, we gonna speak the truth today. Oh, we gonna speak the truth. So y'all know y'all got people like that, especially our own family members. You got them jealous family members. They already was hating on you. And then when something happened to your child, they be glad. They be sitting back happy. They be rejoicing. Y'all see them back there snickering and sniding and laughing, knowing because your child going through something. They sit back there, laugh at you, talk about you, knowing they been hating on you all the while. They been jealous and hating on you, mad because you left them where they still at. You don't left the hood, and they mad because you don't left them. You just wanted better. You never said you was better. You just wanted something different. You just trying to break the generational curse, and they mad at you. And now they happy your child, acting a fool. They got the front row seat. Oh, they sitting there glad. They don't took a picture. They all that. But you best believe God gonna use that too. And them same ones that took that front row seat, they're gonna be the same ones that see when God transformed that child and he used that child for his glory. They're gonna be the same ones looking, and they gonna still be mad. They're gonna be jealous of that. Look, they're gonna be jealous of that. But I'm here to let you know, don't be jealous. Don't be sad, mom, parents. Don't be sad. Don't be upset. Don't be embarrassed. That's the process. That's part of the process. You got to remember. Okay, look, Shaka, let me tell you, listen, I'm going to tell the truth, shame the devil. I'm a mouthpiece. I'm going to speak the truth. You weren't too strict, I'm a royal priesthood. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Have you ever noticed? Listen here, I'm going to dispel this lie. Have you ever noticed? Think about different people and how they raise their children. Think about it. It don't have nothing to do with if you're too strict. If your parenting was too loose. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is teaching these children and holding them accountable, teaching them that they are responsible for the decisions they make. I'm a statistic. I could have been a statistic. Yes, I could have. All about decisions. That doesn't matter. This is why I told my children, y'all don't have no excuse. Y'all don't have no excuse to make good decisions. I am the example. I'm a walking example where you guys, you're not going to have an excuse. Because, we all try to make excuses. I said, if I can watch both my parents smoke crack cocaine, I watch them smoke what they used to call rock. Watch how they used to put it on a can. You burn the end of the can. I've watched the process. Plenty of times, my mom and dad smoked crack cocaine. I didn't have no suburban upbringing. I didn't have my mother and my grandmother helping me with my homework, making sure that I had things. I didn't have that. I didn't have nobody supporting my every move, my every ceremony. Nobody didn't come to my honor roll breakfast and award ceremony. My dad and my dad on my grandmother's side, on my grandmother on my dad's side showed up one time to the school for me. I think because I was being bad or something like that. Was it? Did they come to a? I think no. They came to a conference because I was showing out. I was being bad in school. I was in the 3rd grade. I never forget. But I didn't have nobody coming there for me, helping me with my homework and doing things that these kids think they need to be, thriving and successful. I'm not saying no, you don't be there for your children. But at the same time, we got to teach them everything is not going to go smooth for you in this world. Everything is not going to be laid out on the platter. Everything is not going to be, you're not going to have the pick of the litter in life. No, you got to teach these kids to be accountable for their own actions. So if I can watch my parents smoke rock, smoke crack, I'm going to be transparent here. If I can watch that and make a decision and a choice not to touch a drug, come on now. Come on. We can't come up with excuses. This is why it's hard for me to this is why it's hard for me to make an excuse for my children. I don't care how hard things get. I don't care what people say. Don't be so hard. Don't do this, don't do that. I don't care. I don't care. You got a choice to make. My children's process was easier than mine. They didn't have to walk the streets smelling piss, looking at needles on the streets. They didn't have to grow up in that. They didn't have to walk through what we call uptown. Walking through the street smelling like nothing but beer and piss, watching needles and looking at crack cans on the ground. They didn't have to grow up in that. And you mean to tell me I grew up in that and made a decision and a choice not to touch a drug? There was no excuse. I don't care what nobody say. You're not going to hear that. You get to see your mother sit there and get high as a 8-year-old, as a 9-year-old, as a 10-year-old. You watching your mother buy crack from the crack man. And you mean to tell me I watched all of that in my mind and I decided I'm not going to do drugs? My children don't have no excuse. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to make it easy for them. Make it easy for them to have excuses. I'm not going to do that. No. I could be wrong, but the way I was brought up, and that's why I say everybody's journey is different. This is my process. So my process is that I had to grow up and experience that. My children's process is different. So therefore, you would think it should be easier for them, right? That's what I'm thinking. You don't know what a food stamp is. You don't know what Medicaid is. You don't know what a food pantry is. You don't know what hand-me-downs are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will wear a hand-me-down in a minute. Anybody got some nice clothes they want to send me? I'm not too prideful. Y'all got some nice clothes? Listen, I love beautiful tops. Okay? Listen, I'm not too prideful because I grew up in humble beginnings. I'm not too prideful to take things that are used from people. No. There's no excuse. I just don't have excuses. This is why my kids can have an excuse. I told them, I said, even with my son, when he left off and went to college, and I had a talk with him, I said, you don't have an excuse not to go and excel in school. You don't have no excuse. There's nothing you can tell me when I send you off to college. If you don't finish, that's on you. That's on you. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I told him. You got a mama. You had your daddy there. You had someone helping you. I didn't have anyone helping me in college. I didn't even know where to start. That's the reason I didn't go right away. Right? That's the reason I didn't go. I didn't have the wherewithal at the time. I always knew I was going to go, which I went later when I got more knowledge. But I didn't have no one helping me, holding my hand. That was my process. It was good for me. That was my process. I told him, I said, yo, you don't have no excuse. If you go, your success depends on you. You gotta want this. I can't want it for you. When I wanted to finish school, I wanted that thing for me, not for my mama. I did do it for my grandma, though. I did. I had a driving force, my grandmother, because she had a 3rd grade education and she didn't finish school. So she always wanted to go to school. So I did do it for her because when she talked about school, there was this desire I saw in her eyes that I saw this desire in her eyes that she really wanted to go. There was this twinkle in her eye. Hi, Larry. There was this twinkle in her eye. And that stuck to me because my grandmother wanted to go to school. She couldn't even finish 3rd grade. So I was kind of living out my desires through her. I mean, her desires through me, I meant. Yes. I told them, they don't have no excuse. Oh, they don't have an excuse. You had a mama in her right mind. She may not have been a perfect mother. I'm not going to say I was perfect. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to claim. One thing about me, I'm truthful. And that's what I told my children. I'm truthful. If you come to me and you let me know, Mom, for our children, we say things to our children that we may not remember. And these kids carry this stuff. We do. I know I said some things. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't say things that I may remember and that I don't remember. That's why it's good to go to people and bring stuff to their attention so they can apologize, so they can say, you know what, baby, I don't even remember. Or if I said that, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. This is why it's good to be open, because we say things to our children and we don't realize it. Because some of the stuff we grew up hearing others say to us. Yes, we did. Oh, my daughter's almost done with class. I got to get ready to go. Yes. We grew up saying things, hearing things, and it becomes routine. It becomes routine. And we say it to our children, not knowing that what we're saying to them is hurting them. But I told my children, and see, this is why I know the devil ain't gonna win against me. This how I know the devil's not gonna win, because I understand this. I understood this later, but I understood. You give them kids an opportunity to talk to you. Let them know where you've gone wrong. And apologize. Apologize. Don't say, well, that's just how it is. If they tell you you said something to them, you say, babe, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for calling you, ugly, or, saying you're stupid or silly. Whatever it is that you did, apologize with that statement. Whatever statement they tell you. Apologize. Be sincere. Be sincere. Even with my son. I think I mentioned this in my video. My 11-year-old. We were getting ready for church one morning, and he wanted to wear something that I'm like, boy, you just look like you came from out of, I don't know, but you can't wear that to church. I'm not a stickler on what he wears to church, but what he had, it was just not. I'm gonna let him wear that to church now. It was like a dress shirt. Listen, I'm like, boy, I am not going to let you wear that. And I got upset with them because it was early in the morning. I said, you know what, this ain't nothing but the devil. And we got into a little match. And I went to church by myself. I said, you know what, I got convicted. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I got convicted. And I went home, and the Holy Spirit told me, apologize to your son. Apologize. He already going through something. And the Holy Spirit taught me to be more understanding and learn how to be patient and remember that he's going through something too. We're processing some things at this moment, right? And I went home and I apologized to my baby. I said, you know what, son? I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm sorry for yelling at you. I'm sorry for getting upset with you about what you wanted to wear. And I said, please forgive me. I was sincere. He was like, Mom, I'm sorry. Because he yelled too. He yelled too. And he was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. He said, I forgive you. And I said, I forgive you too, baby. We hugged and went on about our business. Hugged and went on about our business. You're not perfect as a mom, as a woman of God. You're not going to be perfect as a man of God. You just need to apologize. That's what you need to do. Apologize to them babies. And stop walking around pretending that you all put together. You're not all put together. Them kids could make you. Listen, how sweet my grandmother was, my mother's mom. That lady was a sweet woman. You hear me? When I tell you she was a devout Christian woman, she was a devout. I mean, when I tell you we couldn't play Uno cards, she was strictly business about the Lord. And if she told us to sit our ASS down, when she said that, I knew my grandmother was tired of us. When she hit that sit your A down, oh, she was tired of us. We were getting on her last nerve. And she was sweet as a cucumber. Sweet as a what? Sweet as candy. Nice. Cucumber's not sweet, but she was so sweet. Sweet woman. But we used to get on that lady's nerve, her last nerve.